Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat malam, selamat datang kami ucapkan pada Dinner Reception International Conference on Cross Cultural Religious Literacy 2025 dengan tema Education and Social Trust in Multi-Faith and Multicultural Societies. Tepuk tangan untuk kita semua. Yang terhormat, His Excellency Arrmanatha Nasir, Vice Minister for Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia, Bapak Matius Ho, Executive Director Institute Leimena, His Excellency Dr. Thomas Lodel, Ambassador of Austria, Ibu Nobuko Kayashima, Executive Director Sasakawa Peace Foundation, His Excellency Budi Bowo Leksono, Komisaris Utama Independen PT Adaro Andalan Indonesia, Bapak Dr. Brett Scarfs, Director, International Center for Law and Religious Studies, Brigham University Law School, Bapak Christopher Stewart, Ph.D., Special Advisor, Templeton Religion Trust, His Excellency Heru H. Subolo, Director General of Information and Public Diplomacy, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia. Dan yang terhormat Bapak Ibu seluruh undangan yang berbahagia, sekali lagi selamat datang pada Dinner Reception International Conference on Cross Cultural Religious Literacy 2025. Hari ini, malam ini adalah malam yang sangat spesial di mana kita telah hadir, yaitu Bapak His Excellency Arrmanatha Nasir, Vice Minister for Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia, yang akan memberikan remarks-nya. Kepada Bapak Arrmanatha Nasir kami persilahkan.
Let me firstly apologize for being late. I just arrived from the airport. I was supposed to be here by 4, but the act of God. Rain was very heavy in Singapore. They had to delay the flight by 45 minutes. But also, by the act of God, I was fortunate I was able to come from the airport to Shangri-La in less than an hour. So traffic in Jakarta is not the cause by human, but also it's the act of God that saves me, that allows me to be here. Bapak Matius Ho, Executive Director of Leimena Institute, Madam Nobuko Kayashima, Executive Director of Sasakawa Peace Foundation, Your Excellency Thomas Lodel, Ambassador of Austria to Indonesia, Your Excellency, my mentor, my senior, Ambassador Budi Bowo Leksono, President Commissioner of PT Adaro Andalan Indonesia, Mr. Brett Scarf, Director of International Center of Law and Religious Study, Brigham University of Law, Mr. Christopher Stewart, Special Advisor of Templeton Religion Trust, and let me also acknowledge the presence of Bapak Theo L. Sambuaga, Excellencies, distinguished guests, speakers, and participants, good evening. A very good evening to all of you. Peace, blessing, and goodwill to all of us. It is indeed an honor for me to be here with you in this wonderful gathering in conjunction with the International Conference on Cross-Cultural Religious Literacy. I thank the Ministry of Education and the Leimena Institute for their leadership in organizing this important event. I had a conversation with Mr. Matius about 3 months ago about this event, and I immediately said yes. Even though I had found out that my scheduling would be difficult, but I made it a purpose to be here, because this, to me, is an important event, especially in the current global situation. I also commend the Ministry of Religious Affairs, the Ministry of Law, our partners from the International Center for Law and Religion Studies and the Templeton Religious Trust. Your collective commitment reminds us that understanding amongst faith and cultures is not a theory, but it is a necessity. Today we live in a world that is more connected than ever, yet more divided than we've ever seen before. Technology allows us to send messages across the world in seconds, but it can take years to build genuine understanding. The digital age gives everyone a voice, but it is also an echo chamber for a megaphone. Today, we tend to scroll more, but listen less. We are connected online, but we are disconnected in spirits. That is why I believe your work on the cross-cultural and religious literacy is not just an academic theory, but it is a life skill. It teaches us to navigate differences with wisdom, not fear. It helps us to see diversity not as a threat, but as a strength. It gives teachers, students, and communities the ability to ask, what do we share, not just where do we differ? In everyday life, this simply means learning to understand before judging, to discuss before dismissing, and to respect before reacting. When social trust grows, community work together, businesses flourish, and the nation prosper. Distinguished participants, the theme of this conference resonates deeply with Indonesia's broader diplomacy to foster peace, moderation, and mutual respect. Through our global participation in the United Nations Alliance of Civilization, Indonesia has sought to build bridges amongst nations and people. In 2014, Indonesia hosted the Global Alliance Forum in Bali, which reaffirmed dialogue, tolerance, and inclusion as an essential foundation for lasting peace. More recently, the Alliance has deepened collaboration with regional organizations such as ASEAN and emphasizes the importance of education and technology in countering hate speech, including by launching initiatives such as the Faith and Artificial Intelligence. This is important because, as we know, today artificial intelligence is increasingly shaping the information we see, the opinion we form, and even the emotions that we feel. If AI is trained on bias, it can amplify intolerance faster than any rumor could do. If used responsibly, AI can bridge cultures by translating language, connecting classrooms, and promoting shared values. That is why the initiative like the UN Alliance of Civilization, Faith and Artificial Intelligence project matters. That is why your conference in these next 2 days matters. We must therefore work to ensure that technology reflects humanity, not replace it, makes technology a tool for tolerance and not tension. Colleagues, distinguished participants, since 2004, Indonesia has promoted interfaith dialogue with around 37 partners countries. Through our cross-cultural religious literacy program, more than 10,000 teachers have been trained to integrate empathy into education. At the regional level, ASEAN has included cross-cultural and religious literacy in its Vision 2045, recognizing that peace begins with education and mutual respect. In ASEAN, we see diversity not as an obstacle, it is our greatest resources. We in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs also understand that the importance to continue to champion dialogue, moderation, and inclusion at the global stage. Because peace abroad begins with understanding at home. Colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, the pursuit of peace is a daily choice in how we speak, how we teach, and how we connect. Every time we choose dialogue over division, we renew hope for the next generation. Every time we choose empathy over ego, we make our digital and physical world a little kinder. If tolerance is the spark of conflict, then literacy and understanding must be the fireproof for peace. So in closing, my message this evening is, let us use technology not to divide, but to dignify. Let us use and make empathy viral and understanding the new logarithm of humanity. Together, let us make understanding our bridge and peace our common purpose. I thank you.
Terima kasih banyak, His Excellency Arrmanatha C. Nasir, Vice Minister for Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia. Kami juga sampaikan permohonan maaf yang sebesar-besarnya kepada His Excellency Dr. Thomas Loidel, Ambassador of Austria, atas kesalahan dalam penyebutan nama. Dan kami mengundang Ibu Nobuko Kayashima, beliau adalah Executive Director Sasakawa Peace Foundation, untuk memberikan remarks-nya. Kepada Ibu Nobuko, kami persilahkan.
His Excellency Mr. Arrmanatha C. Nasir, Vice Minister for Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia, Mr. Matthias Ho, Executive Director, Leimena Institute, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum, salam sejahtera bagi kita semua, and selamat malam. I hope my bahasa Indonesia is understandable. Okay, thank you. It is a great honor for me to address you, distinguished guests and speakers, at this auspicious gathering, the reception for the International Conference on Cross-Cultural Religious Literacy, entitled Education and Social Trust in Multi-Faith and Multicultural Societies. On behalf of the Sasakawa Peace Foundation, I'd like to congratulate the organizers, the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education and the Leimena Institute, and all supporting institutions on the successful organization of this conference. I also express my deepest appreciation for the opportunity to collaborate with you on this significant event. The Sasakawa Peace Foundation is a private foundation based in Japan, dedicated to promoting international cooperation and exchange. Peace building is one of our core programs, and we have been actively engaged in post-conflict areas across Southeast Asia, including Ambon, Maluku, Poso and Aceh in Indonesia, Bangsamoro Mindanao in the Philippines, and the Rohingya refugee camps in Bangladesh. In these regions, we have worked with partner organizations to develop peace education curricula, promote reconciliation between communities, support the reintegration of former combatants from the violent extremist groups, assist conflict survivors, and prevent domestic violence. 2 years ago, we were introduced to the work of the Leimena Institute and were deeply impressed by their CCRL model. We propose adapting and implementing this model for teacher training in Ambon, Maluku. I am pleased to hear that the implementation of CCRL in Ambon has been highly successful and well received by the local schools, religious leaders, and participants. Over the course of 2 years, a total of 168 secondary school teachers, both from Christian and Muslim schools, were expected to participate in this program. We believe that the program's success stems from Leimena Institute's careful preparatory research into local needs and resources. As a result, they added a special Pera Gundam musical composition session to foster a sense of fraternal and sisterly affection among teachers from different religious backgrounds. This is especially meaningful in Ambon, where communities experienced a horizontal conflict between Christians and Muslims in the late 1990s. Even today, people often live in the geographically segregated areas along religious lines, and mutual distrust still lingers. Tonight's musical performance of Ambon will showcase the result of the collaboration between Christian and Muslim teachers, and I am delighted to be able to see it with you. I am also looking forward to participating in tomorrow morning's special panel discussion on the CCRL implementation experience in Ambon. I firmly believe the education plays a vital role in healing conflict-affected communities, and its impact will continue to grow through the children who carry its lessons into the future. Ladies and gentlemen, in recent years, we have witnessed an intensification of wars and conflicts. According to the latest Global Peace Index, there are currently 59 active state-based conflicts, the highest number since the end of World War II, and the rate of successful conflict resolution is at the lowest point in the past 50 years. Furthermore, global military spending continues to rise amid an increasingly unstable geopolitical landscape. At this historical crossroads, a time of uncertainty and looming threats of war and conflict, how can we reimagine a vision for peace? We believe that CCRL initiatives offer one of the most promising pathways, fostering peace through education, building social capital and trust across religious and cultural divides, and overcoming prejudice and distrust. We are encouraged to learn that CCRL has already been incorporated in the ASEAN Community Vision 2045. We believe this initiative will continue to inspire policymakers and peace builders around the world to work together to build a robust social foundation for peace. Finally, I would like to again to thank the organizers, the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education and Leimena Institute, and all supporting institutions for their dedicated efforts in making this event a reality. And to all of you gathered here tonight, thank you for your kind attention. Terima kasih. Thank you very much.
Terima kasih banyak Ibu Nobuko Kayashima selaku Executive Director Sasakawa Peace Foundation. Ya, silakan kembali untuk ke tempat Ibu. Bapak Ibu yang berbahagia, marilah kita saksikan penayangan video Dialogue Residencies, Building Bridges Through Dialogue oleh Federal Ministry of European and International Affairs of the Republic of Austria.
What if dialogue between cultures and religions is more than just a conversation? What if dialogue meant action, not just words? With the dialogue residencies, Austria embraces new avenues for engagement, mobilizing committed individuals to places where dialogue is needed most. Whether it's about migration in Dakar, indigenous concerns in the Amazon, remembrance culture in Porto, or musical exchange in Accra, every residency is unique and meaningful. What do all these initiatives have in common? The will to understand, the courage to listen, and the shared goal of developing new, collaborative initiatives. With this, Austria sends a strong message for mutual understanding, cooperation, and peaceful coexistence. Dialogue takes time, openness, and people who build bridges. The dialogue residencies are a new approach and an invitation to help co-create the future.
Iya, tepuk tangan kita sampaikan untuk video Building Bridges Through Dialogue, Federal Ministry of European and International Affairs of the Republic of Austria. Bapak Ibu hadirin yang berbahagia, hari ini kita sudah melewati beberapa sesi panel dan insya Allah malam ini kita akan menikmati special dinner dengan special people. Jadi ini adalah waktunya untuk berjejaring, selain dengan makan malam kita berkenalan dengan para hadirin yang lain yang juga dari beberapa negara dan beberapa lembaga di Indonesia. Dan esok hari kita akan mempunyai special session di mana akan ada juga panel discussion dan breakout room. Bapak Ibu semua sudah terdaftar di breakout roomnya? Yes, sudah. Oke, baik. Ya, seperti yang Ibu Nobuko sampaikan, sebentar lagi kita akan mendengarkan music performance dari Maluku. Dan ini adalah sebuah hasil karya anak bangsa yang luar biasa. Kalau ada yang dari Maluku boleh angkat tangannya, mungkin tunjuk jarinya. Iya, tepuk tangan dong buat dari Maluku. Iya, terima kasih banyak dan ini adalah persembahan yang luar biasa dari kita semua. Oke, baik. Besok kami ingatkan kembali kalau besok adalah sesi yang menarik. Kita punya beberapa panel dan juga beberapa breakout room yang Bapak Ibu sudah daftar. Kita mempunyai, Baik. Baik Bapak Ibu yang kami hormati, marilah kita saksikan special performance by teachers from Maluku dan kami mengundang dan mempersilahkan Ibu Sarah Weiss, Ph.D. Professor of Ethnomusicology, the University of Music and Performing Arts, Graz. Kepada Ibu Sarah Weiss kami persilahkan.
Sekali. Where is everyone? There. His Excellency Arrmanatha C. Nasir, Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia. His Excellency Dr. Thomas Leudel, Ambassador of Austria. Nobuko Kayashima, Executive Director, Sasakawa Peace Foundation. Alexander Rieger, Deputy Director of the Federal Ministry of European and International Affairs of the Republic of Austria. Matthias Ho, Executive Director, Leimena Institute. Distinguished and respected leaders, scholars, teachers, and friends. Assalamu alaikum, shalom, nama budaya, om swastiastu, and peaceful greetings to all. I know it looks like I have a lot of pages here, but it's big print, don't worry. It is my great honor to introduce the performance you are about to enjoy. I'm an ethnomusicologist working at the University of Music and Performing Arts in Graz, Austria. And one of my research areas is Indonesian performing arts with an emphasis on Javanese and Balinese gamelan studies. When Alexander Rieger and Matthias Ho first met one another, they discovered they shared similar goals regarding the development of cultural understanding across religious diversities. One idea to which they both are deeply committed, if I can speak for them, and as we can see today here, is that peace building and reconciliation processes can be significantly enhanced and made sustainable through the incorporation of local performing and other arts practices. They decided to connect their initiatives with a trial project in Ambon, the capital city of Indonesia's Maluku province. Hoping to develop something other than a one-off project, Alexander Rieger reached out to academics based at Austrian universities who research and teach about performing arts of Indonesia. There are two of us. And I responded positively to his request because I think it's really important for state university employees to be asked to use their expertise for the nation. And further, I support the underlying assumption that the arts are an essential element of culture formation at every level. So thank you both for inviting me, both to the Leimena Institute and to the Austrian government for inviting me to participate in this project. Now, as many of you know, the end of the New Order and the beginning of the Reformasi period in 1998 here in Indonesia engendered a number of sectarian conflicts around Indonesia, some of which occurred in Maluku. Although armed conflict around Indonesia has mostly ended, there are still residual sectarian tensions and they occasionally flare up. This is something which naturally generates a fair amount of concern and fear and genuine mistrust among the affected populations. These kinds of community disruption are especially upsetting in Maluku. This is because there has been a long tradition of community formation that intentionally cuts across religious identity, one that's designed precisely to prevent this kind of sectarian violence. Known as Pelagandong, the idea is that people in neighboring villages, often practitioners of different religions, are bound by blood to help one another when help is needed. Marriages between people in a Pelagandong relationship are generally forbidden, just as marriages between people inside extended families are forbidden. Despite the turbulence of the 20th and 21st centuries, the Pelagandong system continues to be an important ethical framework for the people of Maluku, one that is still used for conflict resolution, social cohesion, and now peace building. The Leimena Institute's cross-cultural religious literacy program in Maluku focuses on primary and secondary school teachers with the admirable goal to train those who will educate future generations. The 16 people who will perform to you tonight are all teachers. Some of them are just beginning their careers, and some are more experienced serving in important school-based administrative positions. They come primarily from Ambon, the administrative city of the province, and the neighboring island of Seram. They have all attended at least one of Leimena's Institute's 3 workshops that have been already held in Ambon over the last 18 months. These extraordinary people are experts in mathematics, history, biology, civics, reading, religion, etc. And they work in public and private Christian and Muslim educational contexts. They are also active participants in this conference, and you may recognize them when they walk up on stage. Significantly, none of these people identifies as either a musician or a poet, and yet that is precisely what they have become. With seemingly no doubt regarding their task, these creative teachers have embraced the UNESCO designation of Ambon as the city of music and set out to tackle the challenging work of creating the 10-minute presentation that you will now hear. They have created new poetry, new lyrics, and new melodies, and none of it existed before they began this process. The group turned to the ancient community bonds represented by Pelagandong and the bountiful beauty of their island province for inspiration. Although piano, guitar, and drums are often used to accompany singing in Ambon, the performance presented here tonight is intentionally left unaccompanied. This allows the power of the performers' words and their strong voices to be heard clearly. Another intentional aspect of this project is the fact that the group is made up of 8 Muslim and 8 Christian participants. Literally, they embody the goals of the project. The performance begins with the sounding of the tahuri conch shell and the tifa drum. These are traditional instruments from Maluku used generally to call people together and to create a sacred public space for communication. Accompanied by a short video sonically representing the ways in which Christian and Muslim communities are called together, the participants walk up onto the stage according to their religious affiliations and greet one another. With subtle references to both Islam and Christianity serving as the background to the performance, the texts are composed in Ambonese and Indonesian languages. Imagery such as being in different places, but having and sharing one heart, or having disagreements, but knowing that we really come from one community, from one blood, reference this Pelagandong idea directly. The final song is based on a transcription of music performed on the totobuang, a metal gong chime instrument, whose sound and music, usually electronically mediated, greets arrivals when they come to the airport in Ambon and also in the many touristic areas around the province. The text that they wrote for that song references the idea of living together in harmony, thinking about the greater world. The performance finishes with a call for people to remember their oath or their sacred promise, that they should do no harm to anyone. They reference something called the stone, because the stone symbolizes a place of deliberation and discussion for the ancestors of Maluku. Last page, 3 sentences. Please enjoy the performance by this extraordinary group of teachers working together to build peace across religions in their local communities for the future of Indonesia and the world. Thank you.
Gandonge, o gandonge. Ita eni inatuni nusaina. Aku hotaku gandong ade pohi kaka. Aku yausi au suku pohi agama musi. Ea sarania. Au amuni selamua. Ita hotaku au sale tunia yani koa sola lasiamuni itu waini lasi esa koa depi ita pisa humanisi ita eni gandong esa au selamua ayani sarania ita eni kandung nia. Tabea! Tabea! Tabea!
Assalamualaikum deng shalom. Ale salam beta sarane. Katong dua kakak adik. Beta bangga hidup deng ale. Jangan katong lupa satu deng lain. Potong di kuku, rasa di daging. Biar katong sing satu iman. Tetap sayang bagandeng tangan. Jangan katong lupa satu deng lain. Potong di kuku, rasa di daging. Biar katong sing satu iman. Tetap sayang bagandeng tangan.
Di atas tanah pusaka Maluku, harum cengkeh dempala menuju game-game. Di hutan-hutan Maluku, syahdu sagu sapu dada, sapu hati bawa rindu game-game.
Di pulau-pulau, laut bergelora, ombak tumbuh gami-gami. Di puncak-puncak gunung, inaba diri bataria. Anawe, anawe, anawe.
Di ujung Tanjung, amah badiri, amah batabaos. Anawe, syu anawe. Oh Jujaro, oh Mungare, bersama laut dan hutan di tanah Maluku. Ina, ama, game panggil ale, panggil dia, panggil beta, panggil ketong semua. Mari, mari bergandeng tangan. Satu hati, angka nyanyian damai. Nyanyian yang tulus, nyanyian yang murni, bukan nyanyian yang pura-pura. Nyanyian yang lahir dari tulus dan bersih hati, bukan nyanyian yang lahir dari hati yang kotor dan penuh pura-pura.
Laut bawa cinta, bukan duka. Hutan kasih tumbuh rasa manis, bukan pahit. Luka, bukan luka. Belajar dari luka. Sebab hidup orang basudara lebih manis dari luka pun pahit. Dari tanah Maluku, mari, mari, mari katong angka nyanyian damai.
Bukan hanya cerita. katong satu. Ina pelagan dongeng. Jalan bergandengan, jalan beriringan, katong orang basudara, ingat pesan moyang. Jalan bergandengan, jalan beriringan, katong orang basudara, walau beda agama. Seperti halnya pelangi, begitu juga katong orang saudara. Biar katong berbeda, tapi katong satu hati. Jalan bergandengan, jalan beriringan, katong orang basudara, ingat pesan moyang. Jalan bergandengan, jalan beriringan, katong orang basudara, walau beda agama. Seperti halnya pelangi, begitu juga katong orang saudara. Biar katong berbeda, tapi katong satu hati. Seperti halnya pelangi, begitu juga katong orang saudara. Biar katong berbeda, tapi katong satu hati. Biar katong berbeda, tapi katong satu hati.
Sio, biar katong berbeda, tapi katong satu hati.
Dari negeri raja-raja, suara tifa toto buang bergema memanggil kita. Laut biru bercerita kisah kita seirama. Satu hati, satu jiwa, bangga maju tanpa rantai. Damai kita jaga bersama-sama. Mari duduk bersama berbagi rasa. Satu cinta tanpa prasangka, di dalam tu pesan dari Maluku. Kita semua sama, mari jaga harmoni. Mari jaga harmoni. Mari maju jaga harmoni.
Anawe, 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 mai anawe, mai itereunya, mai visi ego mese.
Come, brother and sister, let us rise together.
Anawe. Syo anawe. Mai ite pamahano nusa. Mai ite pamahano nusa si Maluku ni.
To build, to guard, to cherish the living soul of Maluku's land.
Say halehatu. Hatu lisapi. Sili sisu. Suli si.
Heed the words of the ancestor. The stone remembers every vow. He who breaks the sacred oath shall face its weight upon his heart.
Therefore, hold the promise close, and the ancient oath our elders swore.
For in their words, the spirit of the island breathes. A call to unity, a pledge to love the land forevermore.
Ya, terima kasih banyak, luar biasa performance dari para guru Maluku. Iya, terima kasih banyak, feeling so happy with the performance. Dan kami juga sampaikan apresiasi kepada Ibu Sarah Weiss, di mana kita bisa saling bergandeng tangan satu hati dengan nyanyian yang damai melalui music and performing art. Ya, sekali lagi terima kasih banyak buat Ibu Sarah Weiss dan para guru dari Maluku.